Ted and I both believe that our country's in crisis, and I think a lot of you feel the same way. We're a young family. Ted was just elected to the Senate, and it would be so much easier for him to sit in the Senate for 20 years and, you know, try to vote the right way and come back to Texas and explain to people what he's trying to do. Our kids would be in college by then. You know, our kids' college isn't paid for. We've been trying to save money just like each and every one of you. And Ted came home after the first months from being elected in Texas and said, this government is not working the way that our founding fathers intended it to. It's way too big, and people aren't even trying to do what they said they would do when they were elected. You know, Ted always says, sometimes when things get really bad, it's the beginning of things turning around. And that is why we both are so encouraged, because this country has a shared set of values. We all are proud to be American. We believe in personal freedom and individual liberty, in entrepreneurship, the ability to make a living for your family, to take risks, to bear the responsibility of that risk. We have been so blessed at these foundational principles that we all share. We need to restore an economy that creates jobs through implementing a simple flat tax. Ted has done the work, the team's done the research, instituting a 10% flat tax for individuals and a 16% flat tax for corporations, so that America becomes one of the best tax places for businesses to start, not the worst. And we would do that in a way that advantages U.S. jobs and U.S. products, where any product produced here for export would not be taxed at all, but we would pay for that by taxing imports at the 16% rate. That is what other countries do to us and have been for years and years. We're going to finally prioritize American jobs and American products. The second thing is regulatory reform. We all know from being here in Norfolk, and I can tell you it's the same in Iowa and in Indiana and Wisconsin and out in Utah, there are small businesses around this country that are the backbone of this economy that are so heavily regulated that their founders are spending more time on paperwork and admin than producing their widgets. He's argued cases on the Second Amendment, our right to keep and bear arms. These cases are The Democrats were trying to argue, the left was to put forth a case a few years ago, not so many, just 2 or 3 years ago, that said that this was a collective right, not an individual right. And Ted and other solicitors general around the country gathered 31 states to put together a brief. They argued it in the District of Columbia courts, and it preserved the right of the Second Amendment in the District of Columbia. That was a landmark case. If they would not have won that case, it would have dismantled the Second Amendment. These are real issues that we're facing. We have a Supreme Court that's in the balance with the passing of Justice Scalia. If we don't elect a president that knows the court, that knows these issues, these cases were won in 5-4 decisions. There's a right to life case that was won. Ted supported to uphold the federal ban on partial birth abortion. They won that case 5-4. And so this is a candidate who will do these things, who we've seen will do these things at any political cost. We have 2 branches of government at stake, the executive branch and the judicial branch. There's no one else who knows the Supreme Court like Ted does. This will have implications for the next at least 50 years.